Yeah. Back once again. The JBP. DJ Verified. Whole Jersey City. Ice Ish, what up? Flip. We have a world premiere.
What's good, fam? Today, we're breaking down the Joe Budden podcast. Now that some time has passed, I didn't want to jump to conclusions like I usually do. We didn't see Ish, we didn't see Ice, we didn't see Mona. And normally, I'd be like, y'all getting fired, y'all getting replaced. But hold up, Joe just dropped his Rewind show today, and that gave me some insight into what's actually happening. So yeah, I wanted to speak on it. But before I dive in, gotta shout out B-Dot and Imani being on the main pod. My bad, y'all. I'm about to go in full force again because Joe's about to turn up. And trust me, we're gonna have content for days. I'll get to that later. But yo, shout out to B-Dot. Joe doesn't always say things straight up. Y'all know this. When he's trying to tell you something, he drops it in pieces and hopes you catch the hints. Yo, I called you. You said it's scratching and surviving. Come over here. This is your trial run, your chem test. Let's see if you've been sitting on your hands frustrated with how things ended with Elliott Wilson, or if you're ready to bounce back and get busy. And listen, I'm building a whole real network over here. Money is coming in. And even though we complain sometimes, we haven't dipped out like we should have when the product started falling off. Now, as I'm about to make this pivot, I need to see if you're ready to roll. B-Dot doesn't have that instantly explosive personality. It's gonna take time. He's gotta grow on the audience. And given the topics they hit, mostly music, he didn't exactly flourish, but he managed to hit a few solid points. Base hits, if we're keeping it in sports terms. He got a couple of runs in. I'm not mad. I needed him to show up, especially because Ice wasn't gonna be there, Ish wasn't gonna be there, Mona wasn't gonna be there. Step up to the plate. Also, finally giving B-Dot the opportunity, he's been holding it down. My main co-hosts might be missing, but he's been showing out, running the Patreon, leading the page. A lot of people won't give him that credit, but he's been the one keeping that momentum. And side note, Imani, I heard you talk about the ups and downs of Patreon, how the numbers spike when Sam shows up, then drop off the next month. This is the perfect time to test what works, what doesn't, and double down on what hits. Because with the podcast, if engagement isn't popping, it's not landing with the right people. People will engage. They'll comment, argue, debate, or just vibe with you. But you've got to track it. I see this on my own Patreon. Engagement equals insight. And I'm telling you this as someone grinding the same game. We might be heading in different directions, but I looked at your numbers. They're not where they need to be. I'm not trying to clown, just giving the real talk. Look, I'm just saying, you've had Ish on there, you've had other people on there, and honestly, you do well with the interviews. And if the podcast feels like it's hitting a wall, even though I think you and the co-hosts are mad talented, maybe it's time for a pivot. But anyway, I'm proud of what you did on the main episode. You showed up, you did your thing. Eventually, you're gonna start dropping viral takes because I know there's an ongoing beef with the Russell and Joe's trying to steer you in that direction. You can either take that moment and crush it or sit on the sidelines and let it pass. Shout out to you for making it to the main pod. Now let's talk about the elephants in the room. Ice. He spent most of the day on Twitter hyping Resident Evil 9 until the Patreon episode came out. I was like, damn, Joe really sidelined Ice for a minute. But then Patreon dropped and he was back on the show, sitting in the chair Imani usually takes. Sometimes Mark sits there too. Ice had an ISO camera, but he wasn't on full camera all the time, if that makes sense. Joe paired Ish with Imani on the same couch, and something about Imani seems to get Ish to open up more. It wasn't just inside jokes and quiet vibes, he actually contributed.
I expect Joe to keep tinkering with where Ice and Ish sit, but I don't see them disappearing. He's calling them out, sure, but in a way that's more playful digs than actual dismissals. On that Rewind episode, he mentioned how safe Ice and Ish are. He knows what to expect from them, and he's been taking little shots. He feels some type of way about how they've been moving, but not enough for either one to get cut. Now, the biggest elephant, the one I'm watching more closely than usual, Mona. On the Rewind intro, we saw a couple of clips of her engaging with the show, but it's unclear if those were pre-recorded or current. I checked her YouTube page, nothing new posted. Some folks are saying Ramadan, so I'm not jumping to wild conclusions yet. But here's what caught my eye. Joe called out Ice, Ish, and Flip for missing the episode, but Mona got zero mention. That's worth noting. First thought that comes to mind? Oh, Mona's gone? Shout out to Danny, I saw the vid. Mona came on in September, and now it's March, 6 months. Maybe she didn't renew the contract. I don't want to speculate too far, but there's slight credence until I see her post on her own page or return next week. And Joe even said B. might be back next week, so that's not about Ice and Ish. They returned on Patreon the same day. If Mona is missing, we need to pay attention. Anyway, drop your thoughts. I'm not trying to overreact about B. and Amani making the main pod.